On entering Share Paper, to open a new paper we just press plus, New Paper, pick a background colour, in this case we'll stay with white, and a title if you want one. Now we'll pick a colour using the colour palette and fan, and in this case we'll go for a nice medium blue, and likewise for a medium line thickness. And now we can just go ahead and create any shape that we want. In this case we'll go with a nice idea cloud. To pick an object, just double tap. This brings up the manipulation commands in the center, and also delete, cut, copy, etc. on the left hand side. Tap, hold and move to manipulate any of these. This is the move command in the center, horizontal scaling, vertical scaling and resize, and then rotation. And if you rotate using your finger outside the clock face, it moves smoothly. If you put it on the clock face, it moves in 15-degree increments. This makes it very easy to rotate something by a set angle. If we select the theme button down here, this changes how an object is filled. So we can go solid fill, gradient, and various types of texture. In this case, we're just going to go with a vertical gradient. And let's change the line thickness now up to something a little bit thicker so we can make this a bit more bold. To deselect, we either press the deselect button or double tap in some empty space. Navigation through the app is very simple, always using two fingers to pan and zoom. The canvas is pretty much infinite and you can move in pretty much any direction. There's a zoom control here at the top to show you how far in that you are zoomed. So let's just move our cloud up to the left hand corner here. Now if we want to do something a bit more accurately, we click the grid button and this brings up our grid. And the grid is automatic in terms of scaling and accuracy, and we'll show that in a minute. Let's pick a different color. Let's go for red and medium line thickness, and we'll go for just lines, no shading. Now when we draw an object like a rectangle, it gets automatically recognized. Double tap to select, and now you can see that we also get vertex edit commands as well as the other editing commands that we had earlier on freeform shapes. This means that we can move these points around, and we can even move lines around. So you can pick up a line and move it, and that gives you a lot of flexibility in creating different types of shapes. Double tap to deselect. Now let's create a circle. I'm going to zoom in to do this, and you can see as we zoom in we get more accuracy and our grid gets more resolute. This is really handy for doing fine detail. So we draw a circle and it automatically gets recognized, and then we can just resize that accordingly. Now let's zoom back out. Now I want to select both objects. Double tap one of the objects and then just tap once on the other, and now both objects are selected. Alternatively, you can tap, tap and hold and then sweep, and any object that the sweep region touches will create a new selection. Okay, we're going to make that solid fill, and what I want to do is scale that so it'll fit inside my cloud. I'll just switch the grid off for now and scale that down and move that in there. Now it'd be handy to actually zoom in on the thing that we're actually working on, and this is where I'll use the zoom to command, and this will fit our selection exactly into the screen, and this makes life a lot easier when you're doing fine control. Let's just set that up to a nice jaunty angle and then just deselect. What I'm going to do now is select my cloud, and we're going to use the duplicate command to make a multiple series of scaled clouds to create a sort of train of thought. So click duplicate, move the new version which is automatically selected, resize. I'll do that again, duplicate, move, resize, duplicate, move, resize. That gives us a nice little train of thought effect very, very quickly using the different commands. Now we're going to add an image, and we'll click the image command, and we'll take one out of our camera roll which we've already created, and here we have something I snapshotted off a previous version of paper, and this is an iPad with just some geometry that's already been created. Let's zoom in on that, and let's go in a little bit closer. And I want to add some text to this bottom box. To do that, I'll just press the T, which is our text command. Let's put in the word communicate to complete the shared paper message, and we want to make that black, and basically select it first. Let's make that black. Any object that's selected, including text, can be manipulated using the edit commands, and we can rotate and we can scale just like any other graphical object. Deselect. Let's add some arrows, and to do this I'm going to select lines. I'll make the arrows green, and I want to make sure I have a medium line thickness. I want to put an arrow in here. Very easy. So we're actually annotating the image that we brought in here. This is very easy to do. If we make a mistake, we just do undo. We also have redo, and in fact shared paper has an infinite amount of undo on the system, so you can keep on removing stuff and taking things away, and likewise adding it back in again. There go our arrows. Sharing your paper with other iPads is very simple in shared paper. What we do is we have our other clients on the network, on the same Wi-Fi network, or all devices should have Bluetooth switched on, and then you can share. To share, we just click menu and share, and now this right-hand system here shows a symbol which means that there is a paper on the network available for sharing. We click that, we see that it's from DH iPad 2, which is the one on the left. We'll click on that, so yes, we do want to connect, and DH iPad 2 gets an authentication request, and we say yes. Now all of the content is automatically transferred to any of the clients that connect, and all the content is now synchronized, so we have a shared workspace between the devices on the network. By default, the views are not connected, although the data is. To make the views connected, we just click Link Views, and we can do this from any of the devices on the network. Now we can zoom in and zoom out and make changes, and everything will get reflected, and so we can guarantee that everyone is seeing the same view. So if I want to make some changes on this device, let's say we'll select this group of objects here, and we'll duplicate them, and then we'll copy them over here. Now you can see that that gets automatically produced on our client. Likewise, if you want to make a change on the client, let's say we're going to put in a, let's switch on the grid, we'll go to blue, nice electric blue, and we'll put a little blue flash across here to show that the two devices are connected. And actually, let's make that solid, and we can rotate that around. So you can see that this is also reflected here on the left hand side. Any changes that we make are automatically reflected across all of the devices connected on the network. If you want to leave the session, the client can leave or the host can leave, but either way everything stays coherent. So if the client wants to leave, they just click permit, go back to home, we get a message on the host saying yes, client DH iPad 1 has left the session, and they will keep their own copy of the database that was transferred. This is a really nice way of transferring files between people quickly and on the same network. It's really easy in shared paper to organize and present your information. So we've added a little bit of extra material down here, some text and some more graphics to illustrate the sharing capabilities of shared paper. So we can build a presentation, we can present that out to other iPads on the network, or we can generate a PDF or JPEG document, or we can actually connect this to a display either with a cable or using Apple TV. So the first thing we're going to do is just organize what we've got here. And what would be nice to do is to create some views. So we'll use the bookmark tool to do this. We'll click plus, and this actually remembers the view that we have at any particular time. So this adds another view. You can see the icons appearing here. And let's do a couple more here. And we'll just add that view and maybe this one. And finally, we'll add this one too. Now to turn this into a presentation, we have our bookmarks already, and we can actually move through our bookmarks just by selecting the icons, but we're going to use those as part of a presentation build. Click Menu, and then Edit Slides, and this brings up the Slide Builder interface. The slides that we create will appear here on the bottom. The actual slide will appear in this inset window, and we can modify it and fine-tune it there, and then we have various controls to present. So let's go back to our bookmarks. We're going to go for that first bookmark there, and that might make a good slide, but we're going to just tidy that up a little bit so we don't see this part at the bottom. You can see what's in view in the center and what's out of view in the grayed out area around the edges, which is really handy. Press plus to create a slide. So let's go to our next view. We can either use the normal navigation commands or we can use bookmarks. So in this case we'll use the bookmark, and then we'll just fine tune it just so that fits nicely. Create our next slide, and then so on. So let's just do that very quickly to generate some more bookmarks. Sorry, to generate some more slides. And now we've got our slideshow. It's already created, and we can rehearse our slideshow just by scrolling it backwards and forwards. Now we can also do transitions, and these two little symbols affect the transitions. So we have two types of transition. We have a fade transition and we have a fly transition, which will actually move us from one part of the paper to another. And we can also change the speed with which that happens. So that's fast, medium, and slow. So we can change the transitions very quickly, can speed them up, and now we have our slideshow created. To present this slideshow, we can either use the controls on the right here and the left, and if we're connected to a screen, all that will be shown to the screen is in fact what is in the window here. So we get the controls at one end and a nice clean presentation at the other. But if you want to present on your iPad, all you need to do is press the full screen button, and now we can actually move through our presentation that we've created very quickly using the shared paper presentation tools. To exit, we either get to the end of the presentation or we just have a long tap to exit. Now, if we want to share this as a document, we go Menu, Export, and this gives us the option of exporting this as a PDF document or as a set of JPEG images which are wrapped up into one zipped file, and then we can mail that out. So let's just try that as a PDF document. That's generated the document already, and then we can mail it out accordingly. And that is shared paper. Shared paper has a lot of different tools to give you help as you go along. Question mark here will bring up a help sheet, which is a quick reference. If you go back to the main menu section in the home page, you have more help here. You have a full set of instructions. You have the quick reference which we've just seen. We have an example which you can try with full instructions, and there's also a video on the website which will show you how to do that. And then there's a full interactive tutorial, and this will take you through all of the different aspects of shared paper with full interaction and the opportunity to try it out. If you need to go to the website, you can connect that here, or if you need email support, there's a connection here. The other two symbols are to mail out your paper, and that will mail it out complete with all of the slides and bookmarks, so someone else can load it into another copy of shared paper. And also we have the delete button where we can actually delete our files.